Alright, in this video I just want to tell a little story. And since it has internet involved in it, I figured it'd be proper to put on my channel. Rather, the end of the story is going to be good or bad, I don't know, because it's still in process of getting done or not getting done. So the best place to start would be at the beginning. When I used to live in Wilmington, I had high-speed internet and everything. And the only reason I was staying there is because my father was still living and there was nobody else that was in the family that was living in the same town. Most of them were like 45 minutes or hour away. So I wanted to stay in case, he needed me or anything. And I was basically less than a mile away if you drive, on a map, if you draw a line from point A to point B, straight line, not going by the road, it was less than a mile. But when he passed away, I had to find another place because I just didn't want to stay in Wilmington because there was no reason for me to stay there. And the reason that I was staying there was sadly, no longer there. So I got up with a realtor and got him to find some places and found one. I said, that looks like a good one and reasonable price. I started checking the location, what was around it, how far drive to all things like Walmart, grocery store, doctors. I mean, just see if it was something that I wanted to move to. Because I'm the kind that when I move, I'm almost like a root to a tree. You really have to dig me up to get me to move. It's like when I was in Wilmington, that last place I was at. I was there for a little bit over 19 years. You know, I don't like moving. So I have to be sure I like the place where I'm moving to when I do have to move. And of course, being a YouTuber, I had to be sure, want to be sure that we had internet. And plus, I knew where the future was going with all the technology and stuff that I want to get a hold of. And it all requires to have internet. So I looked in that area to see who was the provider for that area. And as soon as I found out who it was, I went to their website, put in the address, and it says it was serviceable. Great. But that was the website. Website's not always up to date. So I found the phone number on the page and called them to confirm that it was serviceable, that it was available. And it was the same company that I had at my house at the present time, and it also is the company that I use for my backhaul for my site that I have. I called them, and they said, "What's the address?" I told them. They said, "Yep, we can give you service." I said, "Okay, so you don't need to do anything or whatever. It's just, you know, set up an account and have somebody come out and set it up." Yep, okay. So with that done, I started packing, got all the paperwork done for the new location. Started moving stuff one trip at a time. I didn't rent a truck. I never do. packing in the car or packed in the van. At that time, I had a van, so that helped a lot because I didn't have anything in the back. I took it to the new home, took everything out the back, and then took it back to the house and just crammed it with everything, bed, furniture, and everything. Took me about 5 trips, and it's an hour one way, so each trip was basically 2 hours, except the last one. But it all got done. And then about 6 months after I got there, settled in, I called them up again, the internet company, and wanted service. And nothing's changed. They said, okay, we'll get somebody right out on this certain time and day that they set. I said, okay, so they came out and the technician said it's not serviceable. We can't connect you. I'm like, really? I like, okay, why not? Then he explained why and all. I'm like, that makes no sense because I can see where you can tie into and it's right over there. But he wasn't having it. He was, he didn't he's not an employee of the company. He was a contractor that does work for them. And that's where it all started. And I've been trying to get internet to my home ever since. Tried different ways, try to talk to the owner because the mobile home park does not have infrastructure built to feed all the homes in there. It's not but 10. And he was not having it. He already gave the rights to another company to go in there, which was CenturyLink at the time, and now they were bought out by Brightspeed or Speed Bright, one or the other. Which that didn't change nothing except the name on the bill. Speeds are all the same, 10 megabits max down, and there's only 10 homes in there, and even that company cannot provide internet for everybody in there. You put in some of the addresses, 2 of them I know of, because I know the people, and it says not available. You need to call this number to see what needs to be done. So I called and they came out. Even though it's not my address, I just tried to see what they would have to do. They said they would have to run new lines to them particular homes to get them service. Even though that there's, existing wires, but apparently they're so old or whatever. And the owner did not want any company be digging in the park, which is understandable. Maybe he had some bad experience in the past that companies come in and start digging and do some damage to drainage or pipelines or whatever. So that was understandable. So I could not go that route of getting him to sign off entry rights. I don't know if that's the actual use of words that they use, but it gives the company right to come on the premises to do the infrastructure. The right of way, I think, is what the term they use. And now here it is. Now that was back, I moved at the place in December in 2019. Here it is September of 2023, and I still do not have that company internet at my home where my studio is. And that's why I need internet so I can actually broadcast live. Now, I've gone through different companies, cell phone services that gives you internet, Blazing Hog and a few other ones. I've got Starlink now. It used to point north, and I had pretty decent internet. It only dropped out like maybe every 5 or 8 minutes for about 15 seconds. For some reason, I do not know why, now the dishy that I have is pointing to the east, which that's where all the trees are. A lot of people say, or some people have said, well, go up higher. Well, I'm already 20 feet up and got guide wires on it, and I don't want to go up any higher. It'd be like a not a good sight of having that sticking up in the middle of the park. I mean, I probably could. I don't think the new owner that bought the park back in July of this year would say anything, but the reason why I'm not going that step is because Starlink on their map on their website saying my area is supposed to be serviceable this year. They're pointing me. I looked where the areas around me that are supposed to be the perfect accessible to their satellite. It's actually real west of me, north and south, but the closest ones is towards the east, and I'm thinking that's why they got me pointing that direction. Because the area that's turned the color saying it's available, when I moved there and got Starlink in 2021, it was not serviceable anywhere around me. It was to the point where they said you might be able to get service, but it's going to be very choppy. But over time, it'll get better because we're getting satellites up there closer and closer to your area. And next year, when they said, yeah, next year you should be even better. So I got it in 2022, and my area is supposed to be available sometime in 2023, which is this year. And it is getting closer. So I'm going to try to figure out ways to get Spectrum connection to the home wirelessly somehow, get them connected somewhere and set up a AP and do a point to point. Maybe a neighbor I might be able to get up with right across this ditch from my home. Uh, there's a small little mobile home park with 5 mobile homes. They have internet. Maybe I can get up with the landowner there and tell him what's going on, see if I can get it from there, or go to the house on the other side of my home and talk to them, or talk to the ones across the main road, which is roughly about 1,100 feet. But there's no trees because there's nothing but a big field with cows and donkeys and wild turkeys all out there. I'm not going to give up trying to get Spectrum in there because I know it's reliable service. Just because I got 9 accounts with them already for the WISP locations. I'm going to keep trying to get Spectrum in there, all at the same time waiting to see how good Starlink gets. in my area. When it says it's available in my area, see if it actually takes the receiver that's on my 20-foot tower and turns it back to the north and gets better connection, has no dropouts. When it's not dropping out, I'm getting somewhere 150 to 250 down, and somewhere from like 8 to, I've seen, what the highest I ever seen upload was like somewhere between 30 and 35. Usually, if you do 10 uploads, I would say the average would probably equal out to about 17, 18. So somewhere between 15 and 20 is about where the average would be. Every now and then, if I catch the satellite up there at the right time and do a speed test, it'll go up there 25 and 30. But more times, I would say 1 or 2 out of 10, it might go above 20. But the other times, it'll be somewhere between 15 and 20, which is more than enough to upload video. Even the 4K videos like this one that I actually upload. I do a ping to 8.8.8.8 and watch it, and when it drops out twice and then it comes back, I know it's going to be a while before it actually drops out again. It gives me time to upload. So it gets that massive upload real quick, and then when it drops out, by the time it drops out, it's not that much data left of the file that needs to be transferred. But if the Starlink gets better and stops the dropouts before I get Spectrum in there, then I probably will stop trying to get Spectrum in there. But then again, I got another angle that possibly will get Spectrum in there, because I've talked to the new owner, told him what I wanted to do, and he was all for it. Get it to lot 1, which is next to the road on it, on the other side of the ditch from where the pole is, from where Spectrum's main line is. Get it in lot 1, set it all up there, and just beam it right on through the park. He said, if the one that lives at lot 1 is okay with that, go for it. I said, okay. And that's what I'm trying to do now, is get them to do that. They said it was not serviceable when I went through the business side. Try to get a business account there. They said it's not serviceable. Now, I said, what if I call residential like I did back in 2019 and try to get a service there? Because lot 1 is the home that I was originally going to move to, but I ended up in lot number 5. So I called them up as residential. Well, lo and behold, I got an appointment for the technician to bring out the modem and get me connected. Now, with that said, and since I've already got a survey done and said a commercial account can't go there because the wires and all that's not there, which it is because I can see it, and I've seen enough of them connecting sites up, knowing that it's already been done for me exactly what that location has. Lot 1 is the same scenario as 2 other places I've gotten internet. I don't know why they don't want to run this one. I haven't got a straight answer on that. I'm like, there's the taps right there. Run the wire and give me connection. And I don't know why they won't, but I'm not going to give up. But right now, I have an appointment next week on Tuesday morning for them to come out and supposedly get me connected. It'd be a residential. That's just like another park that I got that used to be a mobile home park, and it all grown up and everything. Then somebody bought it and made it into a RV park. I try to get a business line in there. They said there's no wires ran to do that. We would have to do the whole park. Me and the owner sat down and chatted about it and everything. I'm like, there's got to be a way to do this. I said, what was here before you got the land? He said it was a small little mobile home park of, I think it was 9 mobile homes. I said, did any of these mobile homes have internet already? He said, yeah. He said, right here with the office. He said, because I had to move. It had still one mobile home on the lot. And he says he had it moved, and that's where he put his office. He said, right in the back behind the office, there's a little stub up, and you see where the wire comes up. It's still got the box. I said, okay. Because over time, I learned that it has to be a postal address for Spectrum to put a connection. It has to be a registered, basically an address with a post office for them to do it. I said, okay. Over time, I started getting more information exactly how they go about of getting internet to a location in my area. I don't know if that's across the whole nation where where Spectrum is available, but I started learning how the bits of information, put it together, figuring out exactly what are they looking for before they say they can give service. I'm like, I said, try to call them and see if you can get service back at this address as a residential. Well, about a week and a half, he called me. He says, well, they're supposed to be connect me up in 2 days. I said, what did they say about the wire? They said they're going to have to run one. Okay. And they didn't run RG6, I think it was, I think it, I want to say it was RG11, the big fat wire that's about the size of your little finger, bright orange. I want to say it's RG11. They ran that from the pole through where he's going to have the RV park, all the way to the back, turn around behind this building, connect it up. And to this day, the address is, say, 123 Main Street, lot 18, which that's what the mobile home that was there, that's the address it had. And that's what my business line is actually written up as. He got a residential put in, kept it for about a month. I placed an order for a business on the same location, got it put in. Then he canceled the residential, and I've had internet in the park ever since. But maybe that might work here. I don't know. But that's what I'm going to try. I'm going to try to see if we can get a residential there. And then after we get that line right, that's the only thing I need is the physical tap line onto the premises so I can use it. Because there's one RV park that I'm going to shut down because there's only one person on it and nobody else seems to want to get on it. And I'm not going to spend more than what's coming actually in. I'm not doing this for, for a career or uh, as a job to, making money, but it's at least has to pay for itself. It's a hobby, but I don't want to lose money on it. I mean, if it costs me $100 a month for a certain RV park and I'm bringing in $100 a month, then that's fine. It's breaking even, fine, because I don't need the money. I just love doing the networking, helping people out. I'm not just putting in internet. I have installed TV antennas. I just like meeting people and help them out. In their RV, relax a little bit. In their place. So I'm gonna see if that appointment works and if this technician will actually run the wire and get a residential there, and then I can go from there. But it's been a long journey of getting this one thing done because I got to have good internet so I can actually stream live. I used to have a weekly show that I do on Sundays, and I can't do it live. Of course, I use my cell phone, but I don't have the use of all the equipment of the custom built computer I built with 4 monitors. I spent thousands of dollars in that computer and the monitors in the studio and the countertop that I used, had built and everything. It's a full blown broadcasting studio that I have. And I hate to not use it, but maybe I'll get Spectrum in there or Starlink will get better as time goes on because it's supposed to be, sometime this year. And when I got Starlink, they said, we really can't guarantee you're going to get good speeds, but we can place an order and let you get it. I'm like, yeah, I'll take the gamble if it's going to be, sometime next year, which at the time it was 2020, I think about the middle of the year. And they said you should be in the available area before end of 2023. I said, well, I'll play with it until then. I mean, it wasn't but like 80, $90 a month. I'm like, yeah, I'll gamble that. Get the ins and outs of it. I said, plus I got to do all the wiring and stuff like that in the studio. So that give me time to do that. But that's where I stand of getting good internet in the studio. It's a, it's a pain in the what when all they need to do is screw in a wire and a tap just a few hundred feet, which is less than what they say they need, and I don't understand why they won't do it. But I got other options of getting a connection from them actually in there that possibly will work. Like I said, I can get up with a neighbor, the owner of the mobile home park next door, and see if I can get a connection tap in there somewhere. There's a will, there's a way, and I got the biggest will to get this done. But then again, as I mentioned, the mobile home park has been sold. So it sold in, when I looked online, I think said it was last time sold July 2023. And I've already met the owner. And there's a section in the back beyond lot 10 where I think like let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5 or 7 lots are back there. It's already got the electrical breaker box and all. It's been back there for a long time because some of the panels are really rusted. So I do believe it used to have mobile homes back there as well. But the previous owner, when I moved there, the owner then did not put any back there. He just put the first 10, then there's a fence, and then there's 5 or 7 spots behind it. Now, the new owner has already told me that he's planning on putting mobile homes back there. Even the one that's taken over and doing the yard maintenance and repairs and all, I even met him and he said he's going to be in lot 16. Well, that means there's going to have to be a mobile home put back there for him to stay in. So if he's want to spend that kind of money, and I've already talked to him about Spectrum coming in, he says as long as they don't dig over here on this side where the mobile homes are, dig on the other side, I don't care. So maybe that would get it in there, but we'll see.